Hi people, me again of course as always and as usual, Moino Ravenberg. This is going to be a really quick geolocation chart that I'm going to be doing on, as you can tell and or see in the top left corner of this video, Antarctica. So yeah, any person that knows Antarctica knows exactly what it's like, so I'm not going to bother explaining it. Anything of use you can find either at the end screen of this video or linked to the description. So yeah, let's get going. First thing you can notice is that the chart, all of its original zodiacal rulers are in its place. The first house ruled by Aries, the way it conventionally and classically is, and so on and so forth. So that already indicates that the chart is especially potent. One moment please. Yeah, now you're seeing Chiron there in Aries and conjunct the ascendant, and the North Node is also conjunct the ascendant, and it's also in Aries, but the North Node is going retrograde, as is conventionally the case, generally speaking. Or I can't remember if it's always going retrograde or not. Most likely it is. It doesn't matter. Doesn't apply. In any case, this simply stands for the fact that there is minor. Chiron stands for the fact that there is minor wildlife there in the Antarctica. Not too much, but they live under rugged and very hostile conditions, and also that they're predatory in nature. Mars also indicates that up to a lesser extent in Taurus. Think of polar bears or similar, you name it. In any case, yeah, predatory animals are present. That's why the original ruler is there. It stands for the fact that Antarctica is a very desolate, hostile, and inhospitable region of the world. Next up, we've got Mars and Taurus, and Mars and Taurus conjunct the second house. Stands for the fact that that there is minor levels of vegetation and or dry land, but it's so minor to the point where it's almost dismissive and or dismissible. Moving on to Uranus. Uranus and Taurus stands for the fact that there are natural resources present in the Antarctic, but they are more of a, how should I put it? They're minor in nature, point one. That's why Uranus opposes Pallas, which is going retrograde in Scorpio, in the opposing house, so the 8th house, which is ruled by its conventional ruler Scorpio. And point two, that's point one, and point two is that, so point one is minor, and point two stands for the fact that these kind of resources are more things that would be used within the technological global sector. Think of an example being uranium. I'm not literally saying that there is uranium in Antarctica or the Antarctic, but similar, but it's quite minor. So yeah, moving on. Jupiter says something similar, as in the things that are present in the Antarctic that could be of economic benefit to any person in the world is of a quite mundane nature, albeit there is a lot of it present. Honestly, it is so mundane in nature. I mean, the snow itself and the ice itself is an example, to the point where it's dismissive, honestly. Now, we've got the Sun, Venus, and Mercury all in Cancer. The Sun and Venus being in the 3rd house and Mercury in the 4th house. And this entire cluster of the aforementioned 3 planets is opposed the Earth, the midheaven, Ceres, which is going retrograde in Capricorn, and not opposed Pluto, also going retrograde but in Aquarius, in the same house, 10th house. Now, this entire cluster here in Cancer, the Sun, Venus, and Mercury, Venus being strong in Cancer and Mercury not so much, stands for the fact that there is a lot of water in the Antarctic, and it is quite frigid and or cold, both from a mundane day-to-day perspective, temperature-wise and overall climate-wise, as well as in the long term overall. And next up we have the pot of fortune, which is 10 degrees in Leo in the 4th house, which stands for the fact that the overall geographical outline and the way things work in the Antarctic regarding all the elements, so naturistic elements as well as elements overall, just plain elements, they are stable in nature, very, very stable. So don't expect the Antarctic to change anytime soon in terms of cohesion in any way, shape or form. Nope, stable, period. Now, we've got Juno and Lilith in Virgo's house, so the 6th house, and you've also got the South Node there going retrograde in Libra. Now, the two aforementioned celestial bodies, so Juno and Lilith in Virgo, oppose the Moon and Saturn. Lilith almost opposed, off by a degree or two, but it is opposed to Neptune, all of which are in Pisces. The Moon, Saturn, as well as Neptune are all in Pisces. It stands for the fact that there is vegetation present with strong medicinal or pharmaceutical properties, but they are obscured by the overall harsh conditions and landscape to the point where they're being overshadowed and just overlooked as a whole, to say the least times 1,000, times 100 at least. Now, I'm going to save the best for last. I'll get to the Moon, Saturn, and Neptune later on. The Earth, there is nothing really to say, and also Ceres, it simply stands for what I already mentioned, inhospitable conditions, yada yada yada. Pluto going retrograde in Aquarius stands for the fact that, in the 10th house, stands for the fact that the Antarctic is quite, again, inhospitable to the point where it being inhabited by people, let alone people en masse. Good luck with that. Like, really, just... I mean, really, just good luck with it overall. Chickens have a better teeth, so to speak, of growing teeth. Have a better chance of growing teeth than that happening. That's why Pluto is quite strong in the 10th house, as it stands for an authority figure, and the authority figure in this question being the weather overall. That's what Aquarius stands for, and the fact that it's going retrograde stands for the inhospitable weather, and it works on multiple levels. Aquarius, other than the aforementioned, also meaning people en masse. So think of a large group of people, a large host of people, so enough people to inhabit a town or a city or beyond. And the Antarctic says here with this Pluto placement, I'm uninhabitable because of the weather. Any person that comes here, 90% chance of dying from exposure, at least 90%. And last but not least, we have, again, drum roll, the best for last, but it's quite obvious to me, honestly. The Moon in Pisces in the 11th house conjunct the 12th house. Strong conjunction since it's only like 1 degree away. Less than a degree even, honestly. 14 degrees and 2 minutes minus 13 degrees and 9 minutes. It's like 1 degree, so 60 minutes minus 7. So if I'm not mistaken, 53 minutes. In any case, it's under a minute. Okay, 53 minutes if I'm not mistaken. Now, all of that stands for the fact that it is ridiculously cold in the Antarctic, like ultra legendary cold. Saturn also attests to that, and Saturn says the cold is enough to kill you. That's why Saturn is also conjunct the 12th house and conjunct the Moon. Like, we all know Saturn also stands for death, so Saturn says, I'm gonna fucking kill you. And Neptune being in Pisces in the 12th house at its absolute strongest stands for the same thing, and it also stands for the fact that the Antarctic is surrounded by one huge body or bodies of water, so the oceans and whatnot, and so on and so forth. Like, water everywhere in sight, okay? Everywhere you look, the second you're at the coast or coastline, at the edge of land, nothing but water in sight, as well as water running through it, so to speak, whether it be metaphorically or literally, and or vice versa. And if anyone was wondering what the nodes mean, the node simply stands, the North Node in Aries stands for the fact that some changeability would be good, as in less cold, less water, more heat, thereby triggering what the South Node says, more vegetation and whatnot. But the fact that both are going retrograde stands for the fact that that's not going to happen, or at the very least is highly, highly, highly unlikely to happen. So both nodes are saying good luck with that. Let me see if I missed anything. No, that was it. Really quick. Bye bye.